Tigers ace Justin Verlander hopes to put on a dazzling display as the Justin we've seen so many times before. He looks to put his last start behind him and dominate the struggling Cleveland Indians today in the last game in this weekend series. It is a gorgeous day for baseball here in the Motor City. Welcome to Comerica Park, third and final game of this series featuring the Cleveland Indians and your Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us as the Tigers go for the sweep here this afternoon. And Rod, they will do so with Justin Verlander on the mound. Yes, he's been their ace and their horse, but he's also trying to come off a really kind of a spotty outing against the Yankees last time.
Well, you know, the 4 days prior to this start today was a very, very long wait for Justin Verlander because he went out there his last start against the Yankees, and to put it in his words, he said he felt uncomfortable. It's the worst he'd ever felt on a big league mound. He threw 114 pitches in just 5 innings. Everything he threw over the plate, they hit, but the majority of his pitches were balls that were up and away from him. He was rushing his delivery. Verlander simply wasn't himself, and Verlander is one of those outstanding pitchers that you wonder how he ever gets hit when he takes the big league mound, but he clearly didn't have it 5 days ago.
And that is the pitching story. As far as the offense goes for the Tigers, they've had a nice series here against the Indians. Don Kelly, what can you say about him? He's had his opportunities to play now, 5 for 8 in this series. He's looked really good.
Don Kelly can play. Don Kelly hit .331 in the minor leagues last year, but it's very, very difficult when you come to the big leagues and you're pretty much a platoon player. But since he's been given a chance to play lately, he's done everything Jim Leyland has asked him to do. Hit and runs are successful. He's been able to sacrifice bunt. He's also hit a double. He's played long ball a couple of different occasions. So it's good to see Don Kelly get an opportunity to play, and not only that, have a lot of success, because as I said, one of the toughest things for a young player to do is coming up from the minor leagues. You don't get a chance to play every day. You start to struggle, you start to press, and then you really don't get it done. But he's been really good.
All right, that's the story from here at Comerica Park. In the meantime, we send it back to the Call Sam studios now with more on our coverage today. Here's Trevor Thompson. You bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get yourself a free small order of curly fries. Starting lineup for the Indians looks like this. That is presented by Honda Bloomfield. Trevor Crowe, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Shin-Soo Choo at the top. You got Travis Hafner at the DH, then Jason Nix, Andy Marte, Duncan, Donald, and Marcin are your bottom three in the lineup for the Cleveland Indians. Nice day for baseball here in the Motor City. A little bit cloudy and overcast, but great temperatures nonetheless. Justin Verlander set to go to work. Trevor Crowe leads it off. And the first pitch of the ball game is fouled back by Crowe, 0-1.
The Indians have had their hands full last couple of days with Galarraga and Scherzer, and they'll have their hands full again today against Verlander because you know he's pitching angry after his last start in New York. He was not happy with those results.
There's a strike call, and the count is 0-2.
And already seeing the biggest difference in the last start, a breaking ball in the very second pitch of the game by Verlander. Leland absolutely loves that.
Well, the Indians in this series are 7 for 61. 7 hits combined in the first two games. A 115 batting average after coming in red hot offensively. Tiger pitching has slowed them down. 1-2 on Crowe. Cabrera and Choo to follow. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, loop foul. 1-2, the count stays on Crowe. Indians check in today at 50 and 73. The Tigers at 60 and 63 as they try and climb a little bit closer to 500 today. Here's the 1-2 offering. Swing and a miss. He went chasing the fastball at 94. One gone. Here's the scouting report on Verlander today, brought to you by Ace Hardware.
Well, we're going to give him a mulligan. That's a golf term for those of you that play in golf tournaments. You can buy some of those before you start the tournament. If you make a bad shot, you can simply use one of your mulligans. And I'm going to give him one for his last start in New York. He was not very good. He recognized that. But no one's been better at home at protecting home court advantage than Verlander since he's come to the big leagues. He has won more games than any pitcher in the American League.
If I played golf, I'd spend all my money on mulligans.
I buy a few of them every time I go play in a tournament. They come in handy.
Yes, they do.
They come in handy, let me tell you, partner.
Asdrubal Cabrera, the batter. He's 1 for 8 in the series, batting .285. They had to shuffle around their defense when Cabrera was out with an injury. And now that he is back, Asdrubal playing the shortstop position. Jason Donald has moved to second. But he has shown flashes of being a really good big league player. He's been pretty hot lately as well. .370 over his last 14 games. And he pulls this one foul down the first base line. 1-2 on Cabrera.
Coming into this start today, Jim said the one message he had for his ace right-hander was to not be so fastball happy early in games. We've already seen quite a few breaking balls from Verlander in the first 2 hitters of this ball game, but Jim felt like in that New York game 5 days ago, he came out trying to establish his fastball, and then when he went to his secondary pitches, they weren't there for him.
There's another breaking ball hit in the air to right. Bosch is there, and there are 2 gone.
Let's take a look at the Tigers defensively. It's always presented by Beaumont Hospitals, and I know we've got some real good fans that are shut in at the Beaumont Hospital. We appreciate you. Kelly's in left. Jackson is in center. Bosch is in right. Inge, Peralta, Rhymes, Cabrera, they round out the infield. You saw that fielding percentage of Brandon Inge. It's a really good one.
So Verlander in search of the 1-2-3 inning. Shin-Soo Choo, the batter.
You know, I asked Jim yesterday when he was talking about Verlander mixing up his pitches about him throwing breaking balls early, because most pitching coaches, with every single starting pitcher, the one thing they tell you to go out and establish is your fastball early in games. I guess that's kind of changed these days.
That's drilled high and deep to right field, and it looks like it's going to go, and it's way gone.
That's a fastball.
Shin-Soo Choo, a 2-out solo shot, his 15th of the year, and the Indians lead 1-0.
Yeah, we've told you the last couple of days that Shin-Soo Choo is probably their best all-around player. But something else about Shin-Soo Choo is usually when you throw him a fastball, if you don't locate it in an area where you should, he can hurt you. He's a really good baseball player.
Choo has some power. And that is his 60th RBI of the season. Well, we have seen Verlander mix it up a little bit more here in this first inning, yet the first inning woes continue in terms of opponents and what they've been able to do against him. Hitting .302 in the very first inning against Verlander. But after that, it really levels out. The 0-1 to Hafner. 0-2.
Jim also pointed out he thinks that might be some of his problems early in games, too fastball happy, whereas most really good pitchers, they struggle early in games, but they start to settle in once they start to throw their breaking balls. So I guess Verlander really no different than most of you really great pitchers that have played the game of baseball.
He's fouled back out of play.
If you don't get him early, you usually don't get him at all.
Justin gave up a run in 6 innings, the start before his Yankees outing last time out. Chu has gotten him here for a home run. The 0-2 is a strike called, and Hafner is out of there. Second strikeout of the game for Verlander. They get a run on the Shin-Soo Choo homer. We go to the bottom of the first, 1-0. Of the first inning, Tigers starting lineup presented by Big Boy. It'll be Austin Jackson, Will Rhymes, and Johnny Damon at the top. Cabrera cleaning up. He's back at first base today, hitting .341. And then you've got Bosch, Peralta, Inge. Kelly, look what he's done against the Indians this year. And Gerald Laird is catching. He is batting ninth. The Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Mr. Genmar Gomez. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
He had a smashing debut. It was right after the All-Star break, and it just happened to be against the Detroit Tigers. 7 innings, 5 hits, did not give up a run. He struck out 4. He was first pitch strike on just about every Tigers hitter. He's also made history with Cleveland. 4th tried pitcher to begin his big league career, winning 3 of his first 4 games since 1920. So that's a long, long time.
Well, let's see how he does here today as Jackson leads it off. Austin just continues to clip along here in his rookie season. He is 5 for 9 in this series.
He plays his best baseball overall against Cleveland Indians pitching. As a matter of fact, no one has been better than Jackson in the American League against Tribe pitching.
Jackson right now enjoying his 7-game hitting streak. 24 hits in 13 games against Cleveland pitching this season. The 0-2 missing outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Genmar Gomez, just 22 years of age, out of Caracas, Venezuela. 6'3", 170. That's line to right field, sinking, base hit right in front of Chu. And there goes Jackson again. He's aboard with a leadoff single.
Let's take a look at the defensive alignment behind Gomez in this ball game. You've got Duncan in left. You've got Crow in center. You've got Chu. He's in right. At the infield, third to first reads Nix, Cabrera, Donald, Marte. Morrison back behind the plate today, and 91 errors this season for the Cleveland Indians, which is the most errors in the American League.
Cleveland committed a couple last night. In fact, so did the Tigers. Here's Will Rhymes. Will takes a strike.
Already first pitch strikes here for Gomez, and that's one of the things that he's been very successful at in the few starts he's had in the major leagues. He has attacked the strike zone.
Rhymes 2 out of 9 in the series. Jackson draws a throw. Austin now has led off each game in the series with a hit. Tim Belcher was saying of Genmar Gomez that kind of echoing what you just said. He is a strike thrower. He's got a clean arm, a clean delivery, sinks the baseball. And although his numbers in the minor leagues this year when he was first called up weren't very good, he's had some success here.
When he came to the big leagues to make that start right after the All-Star break, the only reason why he got the start is because it was his day to pitch. As you mentioned, he was not pitching all that well, but he came up. He had a stellar start. He went back down to the minor leagues for a couple more starts. And now he's back in the big leagues, and it looks like he's here to stay.
Little pop up. Shallow center field. Might be trouble. It's going to drop. Base hit. A looping single to left center for Will Rhymes. 2 on, nobody out.
Nothing the outfielders could do, nor Cabrera, the shortstop. That ball was hit in the right spot, I guess you would say.
Hey, he couldn't have thrown it out there better than that.
He sure couldn't have.
The Tigers, by the way, have gotten 2 runs in the first inning in each of the first 2 games, so we'll see if they can score again here in the first inning today. Johnny Damon played in the opening game a couple of nights ago, was 0 for 5. On a night in which the Tigers had 16 hits. Ball 1 from Gomez. Johnny batting .271. That's popped up. Left side of the infield. Who's going to take it? The shortstop Cabrera will.
For those of you at home possibly thinking, because Damon has kind of struggled this year, that he should have been up there sacrifice bunting. No, you don't want to do that, especially with Cabrera coming to the plate, because that would have made it really easy for Manny Acta to walk Cabrera, and they still might walk him. That's why Damon was not asked to bunt.
Well, they did it twice intentionally last night, in the first inning and in the 5th inning. Bosch made him pay with an RBI double after they walked him the second time. 2 on, 1 out. Right back up the middle into center field. Base hit. Jackson coming around third. He's going to score. Throw to third, not in time. Rhymes is in there. Cabrera now will take second base on the misplay at third base. Single and an RBI for Miguel Cabrera.
He's such a special player. He knows all about Gomez on the mound. He knows he likes to throw first pitch strikes. He's looking for the fastball down and in. He pulls his hands in nicely, which allows the barrel of the bat to get right off the heart of the plate. Ball whistled right through the box. Jackson was not going to be thrown out, but give Rhymes credit. Rhymes forced the issue by forcing a throw to third base, and it was mishandled by Nix, and that allowed Cabrera to get in the scoring position.
So the Indians are going to be charged with another error.
Oh,
It's a nightly occurrence.
Who'd they give it to? They give it to Nix or they give it to Crow?
Still waiting. Bosch will be walked intentionally now with first base open.
They should have gave it to Nix.
The RBI for Cabrera, number 102. And that, by the way, is the first inning run allowed by Gomez in his 5 big league starts.
Well, if you're Johnny Gomez in the on-deck circle, right now you need to be channeling all your adrenaline Peralta, toward having a good at-bat here. Do not take it personal, the fact that they're walking Bosch to get to you. I know it's your former team, but that's the correct play by Manny Acta. But what you have to do is relax and at least try to get yourself a fastball that you can loft into the outfield for a sacrifice fly. Really, that's all you should be thinking about right now if you're Peralta.
There's ball 4 outside to Bosch.
But I've been where he's at. You take it personal, you stand in that batter's box, you start to grip the bat real tight. Next thing you know, you're not having a good plate appearance.
And I would think, as you just mentioned, that feeling would be compounded by the fact that you're playing your former teammates.
No doubt. No doubt.
And we'll see what Johnny is able to do here with only 1 out.
But it only takes 1 pitch. That's why your really good RBI guys drive in 80, 90, 100 a year. This situation, they look for 1 pitch to hit.
By the way, the ruling was an E8.
Ugh.
An error to Trevor Crow on that play. Strike 1 on Peralta.
It's a bad error. All he did was 1 hop it to the third baseman.
Agreed.
Hit him right in the glove.
2 singles started the inning. A base hit by Cabrera drives in a run. Tigers have knotted it up. Way outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Johnny in the series 1 for 8. He's got the bases full here.
Cabrera's amazing. You give him 1 pitch to hit, and he hits it.
Verlander hoping his team can take the lead now. Line drive to center, base hit. Peralta comes through. Rhymes will score. Cabrera coming around. They're going to send him home. Throw to the plate, not in time. A 2-run single for Johnny Peralta. And a 3-1 Tigers lead.
Johnny Peralta told me yesterday that he was going to start trying to hit the ball right back up the middle, and that's exactly what he does. He's out in front with his body, but his hands stay back, which means he still has a chance. Cabrera had a really good jump off second base, and Morrison, the catcher, was trying to block the plate, but a real strong slide by Cabrera got his leg out of the way. Look at the slide here. It's what you're taught to do when the catcher's blocking the plate. Just go for that foot and just push it out of the way.
Tigers have 4 hits already now, a 3-1 lead. 53 RBIs for Johnny Peralta. He drives one to left field. That's a base hit. Bosch had to hold up, so he'll stop at third, and the merry-go-round continues to swirl round and round as Ames picks up a base hit.
Well, coming into the game today, everybody in the ballpark that follows the game of baseball, we knew that Gomez likes to throw first pitch fastballs for strikes. Guess what? The Tigers know that as well, so they've come out very aggressive today, and they've picked on the first pitches that they've seen. Now it's up to Gomez to make an adjustment here today, which he really hasn't had to make a whole lot of because he's been very successful in the starts that he's had in the big leagues.
Yeah, he's already given up more runs in this start than in any other start. 2 was his previous high.
So you can arguably say this is the most stress by far he's had to pitch in.
And here is a hot hitter, Don Kelly, 5 for 8 in the series.
Kelly's an Indian killer.
He has been this year.
10 for 11 against Indian pitching. 10 for 21, I should say. 10 for 11, he'd really be a killer.
It wasn't impossible. The 0-1 pitch. Fouled away. Don Kelly, as recently as August 3rd, was batting 197. And his average is now up to 241 coming into play today. In career against Cleveland, 13 games, 10 hits. Janmark Gomez has allowed 5 hits and has an intentional walk in this inning. A much different afternoon for the Tigers today than it was the last time they saw him. Justin Verlander, the recipient to this offense. After giving up a home run to Chu in the first inning, Tigers come right back. 1-2 on Kelly. Don was saying before the game today that the extended at-bats he is getting now is allowing him to recognize off-speed pitches a lot better. That's the toughest thing for guys that don't play every day, and he hit a changeup out of the ballpark last night. And that one just missed. 2-2. Kelly played first last night. He's played 4 different positions. They've got him stationed out in left today. And that's low from 0-2. We go to 3-2.
Jenmar Gomez has a fastball anywhere from 92 to 94. He's got a slider that he'll throw from 86 to 87 miles an hour. Still a developing changeup, which you would imagine from a young kid, just 22 years old.
Let's see if it finds the seats. It will not. What a grab by Nix up against the railing, leaning over to make the play. And he ran into that railing hard as well.
Nix is not really a third baseman by trade. You add the fact that he really hasn't played that many games at third base in this position. But he does not shy away from the railing nor the cameras. Reaches in and makes a really nice grab to help his pitcher out, who's still in the jam.
Right at you. 2 outs. Here's Gerald Laird, the 9th man to bat in the inning. Gomez has just thrown his 26th pitch.
And Gerald Laird's batting average is not yet 200, but the last 11 games he's been hitting the baseball a lot better. His batting average is over 300, which means he's still got a lot of work to do.
1 ball, 1 strike.
There you have it. 292, 7 for his last 24.
Opportunity here to break it open early for the Tigers. They already lead 3-1. Bouncing ball to the right side. Donald has it. And the inning over. But they send 9 men to the plate. The Tigers score 3 times on 5 hits. It's 1849. And by Comcast, call 1-800-COMCAST for TV, phone, and internet. Stay here in the Motor City today. The Tigers off to a nice little lead. 3-1 is our score on a 73-degree day here today. A bit of cloud cover, but a gorgeous day nonetheless. The Tigers a big inning. 2-run single by Johnny Peralta helped out the cause. Miguel Cabrera, RBI hit. And Verlander goes back to work now, facing Jason Nix. Nix, Marte, and Shelley Duncan. .245 average for Jason Nix. He is 1 for 7 with a double in the series. Fouled back out of play. The double that he hit broke up the perfect game bid for Armando Galarraga after he retired 14 straight. He was in the 5th inning and he doubled off the glove of Don Kelly. One and one. Two balls and one strike. Three and one. And Nix has taken over third base with the trade of Johnny Peralta to Detroit. That opened up that spot. Marte waiting on deck. 3-1 pitch. Fouled back out of play. 3-2. Indians got a run in the first on the 2-out solo shot by Shin-Soo Choo. And the Tigers answer with 3. 3-2 pitch. On the ground right side on a hop Cabrera. And one gone. That'll bring up Andy Marte. And just a couple of days ago on the 29th of July, Marte was showing off his pitching skills. He's played third, he's played first, but he also pitched an inning against the Yankees, and it was a scoreless inning with a strikeout.
Wow.
Slinging that ball up there almost 3/4, and it looked like he had some pretty good stuff. Very versatile. I know managers hate to get in that position where they have to use a position player, but sometimes you have no choice.
It's kind of embarrassing, but every now and then you get faced with that proposition, and the Yankees have the kind of offense that can do that to you.
Marte is playing at first base today. .223 hitter, 4 for 19 against Tigers pitching this year. Drives this one in the air toward left field, hit pretty well. Kelly going back to the wall to make the catch. Well, he had it all the way. 2 gone. Here's Shelley Duncan. Duncan is mired in a terrible slump. He has not had a hit in this series, and he is just 2 for his last 32. He does have the power to hit one out, though. 7 home runs. He hit 30 homers in the minor leagues last year, his final season in the Yankees organization.
Yeah, he's got legitimate big league pop, legitimate power in that bat.
In fact, twice in his minor league career with the Yankees, he had a 30-homer season.
You wonder why guys hit so many home runs in the minor leagues, and then they come to the big leagues, they don't get chances to play every day. That's a lot of minor league home runs.
1-1 pitch is popped up. Shallow center field. Rhymes going back. Jackson coming in. And that is that. It's a 1, 2, 3 inning. Tigers baseball today is presented by Bell Tire. by a space in the player's uniform number to 37338. That's FSDET. See the final results at the end of the game today. 37338 FSDET. And vote for your Tigers McDonald's player of the game. And we appreciate you. Here's the first pitch strike coming to Austin Jackson, who led off the first inning with a base hit.
Gomez now 7 of 10 in first pitch strikes, but it really hasn't boded well for him. He's given up 5 hits in this game already.
Under the glove of Nix into left field. Tried to play it off to his left, and Jackson is on again. That'll bring up Will Rhymes.
It's a difficult play here for Nix. One, you have to decide whether you want to come in or go back, and then you have to try to decide which hop you want to try to pick. As we take a look at it in Lincoln Mercury Exmo, it just kind of jumped over his glove. It's probably a play that should have been made.
Tough call, still waiting on the call. Jackson is hoping it's a hit. Rhymes had a single in the first, a blue single showing bunt, and he was unable to lay it down.
He laid down a really nice bunt in last night's game. It was late, but it was a really nice play by the pitcher who was on the mound at the time to nip him at the wire by a half a step.
Jackson, by the way, was given a base hit. He's 2 for 2. 6 Tigers hits now. Runner goes, and it's slapped back out of play. No balls, 2 strikes.
Judging by Rhymes swinging at that ball that's pretty much up and away from him, which was a ball, that might have been called from Jim Leland, the hit and run. Rhymes has shown some pretty good plate discipline since coming up from the minor leagues.
Well, he walked more than he struck out at Toledo this year. Way high, 1-2. Jackson, by the way, has his 41st multi-hit game and 3 in a row. So his numbers just continue to rise.
He also has 7 steals against Cleveland pitching this year.
Really?
Yeah, he's got 7.
Of the 19. There he goes again. And it's lined to right field. Fair ball. Down the line it goes. Jackson on his way to third. They stopped him there. Rhymes hustles into second base. The Tigers in business again here in the second.
Gomez continues to throw fastballs, and the Tigers continue to hit his fastballs. That ball is up. As Jackson's on the move, he quickly picks up his third base coach, and Gene Lamont tells him, you can get over to third base. You can't look behind you where that ball was in the right field corner if you're running from first base. That's why the third base coach is in that coach's box to help you out.
It's a 2-hit game now for Rhymes. Here's Johnny Damon. Infield drawn in for the Indians. Already down 3-1. Damon popped up his first time with runners at first and second. And a strike call. 0-2 on Johnny, who finds himself in the hole. And Janmar Gomez finds himself in another jam. Damon this year has knocked in 39 for Detroit. Johnny's been in the papers recently talking about how much he loves to play for the Tigers and playing with this organization and in this city. There have been whispers that a pennant contender has come a-calling, or 2. The 1-2 is hammered down the right field line, foul. And the waiver situation always, I think, confuses a lot of folks here in the month of August. Just because you are put on waivers doesn't necessarily mean the team wants you to depart or wants to deal you, but it's just, in many cases, a procedural move that a team will make to judge interest of other teams and players. And again, the 1-2 way outside. 2-2.
Yeah, because you can put a player on waivers, and if another team claims them, you can simply try to work out a deal with that team, or you can pull the player back, or you can simply just give that player to the team. Right. So you're absolutely right. It's a way for organizations to kind of gauge what interest there may be out there in some of their players.
Because maybe in the offseason you think about dealing with a club, and if you know that there was some interest in August, you try and work out a deal, and Damon's struggles continue as he cuts and misses. First strikeout for Gomez. Now the big fella Cabrera.
Well, he won't hit. That beat Cabrera.
First base open. They've already signaled 4 pitches, I believe. They're going to walk him intentionally.
That last pitch to Johnny Damon, really good changeup by Gomez. A pitch they say that he really needs to incorporate into his arsenal.
Third time in the series that Cabrera will be walked intentionally. And he's about to catch Pujols. Pujols had 27 intentional walks to lead the National League.
On 2 of the 3 occasions that he has been walked intentionally, Bosch came up big with a hit, and Peralta also came up big today with a hit. Bosch, he got his hit yesterday.
And there is ball 4.
Well, you can understand why you don't really give Cabrera a whole lot to hit. When you decide to pitch to him, he usually makes you pay. That was a double in the very first game of the series. That was off Masterson. And then yesterday, he simply takes the base hit the opposite way a couple of occasions. And today, he also takes a lousy single right back up the box to drive in another run.
23 intentional walks on the season for Cabrera, and there you go. He has a sizable lead on Cano and Mauer, and Ortiz and Ichiro. Bosch walked intentionally in the first inning. '57 RBIs in his rookie season. Sits safely in his last 3. Line drive, right field, hooking. That ball is a fair ball up against the wall. 2 runs will score. Jackson and Rhymes. Cabrera goes to third, and Bosch comes through again. Another big hit for Brennan Bosch.
Brennan Bosch and Peralta continue to foil the strategy of Manny Acta, the manager of the Cleveland Indians. He is making the right decision to put Cabrera on, but it's Bosch and Peralta that have had really good at-bats in this game with the bases loaded, and that's a ball that's at the top of the strike zone by Gomez, who does not have good control today.
Brennan Bosch safe at second base, safe and secure, New York life. Still only 1 out. The Tigers have 5 runs on 8 hits. And we're only in the second inning.
The 8 hits are the most that Gomez has given up in any of his starts this year, and he's not even out of the second inning yet. That's how well he's pitched.
Bosch now with 59 driven in. Peralta had a 2-run single in the first. 0-2 on Johnny. Cabrera, the runner at third base. Bosch at second. A 3-run first has been followed by a 2-run second for Detroit. The 0-2. High fly ball. Right center field. Crow coming over. Runner will tag at third. That's Cabrera. He will come in to score. It's an RBI. Sac fly for Peralta, and he's had a nice day so far. 3 RBIs. 6-1 ball game. Tigers now 15 of 39 with runners in scoring position in this series. They have gotten it done in all 3 games, and Verlander appreciates it today. He's got a 5-run lead to work with now. Here's Inge with 2 outs. Brandon had a single in the first. 1 of 8 Tigers hits already in this game. Peralta coming up with 3 RBIs against his former teammates. 54 driven in for the year now for Johnny. One ball, 1 strike. And Peralta, with a 2-run single in the first, they pitched around and walked Bosch intentionally to get to Johnny, and he came through with a 2-run hit. Here's the 1-1. Tapped slowly and foul down the third base line.
Peralta changed his approach the last couple of days against his former teammates. He was 0 for 4 in the very first game of this series on Friday, and he was too pull happy. He was trying to do too much. Yesterday, he said he was going to think about going right back up the middle, using his lower half a little bit better, and he has done that today. Base hit up the middle and a sacrifice fly to center field. 3 RBIs. There's a difference.
Two balls, 2 strikes. "54 pitches for Genmar Gomez. Still looking for the final out of the second. Gomez threw 106 pitches in his last outing, but that covered 6 innings of work in KC.
He took the loss in that game, even though he only gave up 2 solo shots, but he went up against Kansas City's ace in Zach Greinke.
His first big league loss.
So he pitched clearly well enough to win, but Tigers fans know all about Zach Greinke, who won the Cy Young Award last year in the American League. Tigers going to miss Greinke. I'm sure they're not all that upset about that.
It's all right with me. 3-2. He's fun to watch pitch.
No question.
But it's better to watch him pitch against other teams. So it's full now, 3-2, and out to the mound goes Lou Marson. On deck, Don Kelly. It has been a struggle for the 22-year-old Genmar Gomez. Tigers have put up a 6 spot on him with a pair of 3-run frames.
And Tim Belcher, pitching coach, and Manny Acta, the manager of the Cleveland Indians, are kind of getting an idea of what Gomez is made out of. This is the first time he's pitched in trouble since he's been in the big leagues.
And he walked him, ball 4. That'll put runners at first and second. Third walk of the game, 2 of those intentional. Tim Belcher comes out there, pitching coach. Belcher was saying after that first start he made against the Tigers, you could see that Gomez's confidence was absolutely soaring. He felt that he could pitch at this level. He went back down for a tad, then came back up and really was pitching well up until today.
It's tough when you see the team that you had success against the next time around. Tigers have clearly made adjustments against Gomez, and he's been slow to make the necessary adjustments that he needs to make second time around. first time around, they had no idea what he was featuring. Although quite a few of the kids in AAA knew what he was featuring because he had pitched against Toledo a couple of times.
Very true.
But the big leaguers didn't know.
So here's Kelly. Popped up and fouled ground his first time up to the third baseman, Nix, who made a nice play over the railing. Lou Marson, the catcher today, caught Gomez quite a bit in the minor leagues. They are paired up here this afternoon. Off the end of the bat, 0-1 on Kelly. Boy, nice job there by Nix, because that ball was curling back into fair territory. And if they would have let it go, it might have gotten there. Kelly alertly was running down the line at first base. That was the 60th pitch thrown in this game already by Gomez. 1 ball, 1 strike on Don Kelly. High fly ball left field. Shelley Duncan is under it, and that will retire the side. Another big inning for the Tigers. They score 3, 2 coming in on the double by Brennan Bosch. Name and eye care. And by AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T, rethink possible. Back here in downtown Detroit in a 6-1 game.
Hey fans, see the Tigers battle of Kansas City Royals tomorrow through Wednesday and enjoy the weekday value pack. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 soft drinks, 4 bags of chips for only $55. Order tickets by calling 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
Justin Verlander back to the mound as we go to the top of the third. He has a 5-run lead. Verlander has surrendered 1 hit, and it left the ballpark. Home run by Chu. Jason Donald leads it off. Donald, Marson, and Crow.
Tigers pitchers have not pitched with this much margin for error lately. JV with a 5-run lead early in this game, and he's got his A-game stuff going today. Good fastball, good breaking ball, and he thought that was a strike right there. Tony Randazzo did not give it to him. But it looked awfully good. Look at the depth on this breaking ball. It dropped in there nicely. Randazzo must have gave up on it too.
1-2. Donald at 253, 0 for 3 in the series. Playing second base today for the Indians. Verlander has struck out 2 in this game. That is a foul ball. Foul ball. Ings made a nice play.
Ings did a nice job by completing the play as well, because you never know what the third base umpire is going to call on that play, Ted Barrett. So you just grab it, you complete it. If he calls it foul, it's foul. And if not, you get the out at first base. You can't wait until you hear the umpire say fair or foul.
And the 1-2. The Tigers win last night against the Indians. They've won the first 2 games in this series. They've won 7 of 8 at home against the Indians this year.
Now they need to get back to 500. They're doing a nice job in trying to get back there.
Listed high, 2-2. Tigers continue to be a good home team this year. Despite their second half struggles, they are 40-24 at home. 2-2 pitch. Fouled away. Three-run first, 3-run second, giving the Tigers and Verlander a 6-1 lead. Marson waiting on deck. Swing and a miss. Verlander has his 3rd strikeout. Time for a game break. We go back to the studio. Here's Trevor Thompson. Thanks, Trev. We got an eyeful of CC the last time the Tigers were in New York on the last road trip. The ball's hit well. It's going to be over Jackson's head all the way to the wall. Marson has extra bases, and he'll pull in with a 1-out double. Second hit of the game for Cleveland.
A 94-mile-per-hour fastball right down the middle, and basically Marson allowed the velocity of that pitch to supply the majority of that power, and Jackson was playing in rather shallow, couldn't run it down. But you're absolutely right about CC Sabathia. A lot of people not talking about him winning a Cy Young, but who's been better in the American League than CC Sabathia this year? I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
Numbers-wise, he's right there. He leads the league in wins. He's among the top 10 in ERA.
He's a perfect example of a guy that when he came to the big leagues, he was a thrower. Overpowered you with 98-mile-per-hour fastballs. But boy, has he really developed from art to pitch. Change-ups and breaking balls. He's outstanding.
Trevor Crowe struck out back in the first inning, 0 for 1. Bouncing ball back to the mound. Verlander will check the runner. Crowe is out, 2 gone.
Much different Verlander here today against Cleveland. Obviously, there's a difference in the orders that he's going up against, facing the Yankees and the Cleveland Indians. But he's using all his pitches. He's throwing them all for strikes. And that's the key for Justin. And when he does that, he can beat anybody.
Verlander much more economical, obviously, than Gomez, who has struggled through a couple of really rocky innings. Well, Verlander has begun to pitch a lot better against this Indians team. In fact, he has won each of his last 5 decisions against Cleveland, which dates back to last May, and an ERA of 2.87 in that span. Which goes to show you how difficult it was for him early on against Cleveland, because his lifetime numbers, he's 9-10 against the Indians.
You know, the White Sox and Cleveland used to give him problems.
The 1-1 is fouled back. Verlander made his big league debut in a doubleheader in Cleveland. And since then has won 9, lost 10, an ERA of over 5. The 1-2. 2-2 the count. Tigers have 8 hits today. The Indians only 2. And the 2-2 is outside. 3-2 on Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera just 1 for 9 in the series. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Got him. Strike 3 called. Verlander has his 4th strikeout. And they strand a 1-out double. 2.5 on the score sheet. Laird, Jackson, Rhymes coming up.
Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
Well, it's a Sunday here at the ballpark. That means lots of kids. And in fact, all the folks here today were able to take advantage of photo day here at the ballpark. That was a fun event. Gomez back to the hill in a 6-1 game as we go to the bottom of the third. It'll be Gerald Laird, then Austin Jackson, and Will Rhymes. 6-1 Detroit, a 3-run first, a 3-run second. Laird is 0 for 1. Gomez in desperate need of a quick inning. He has thrown a lot of pitches already. Chopped slowly toward the left side, charging. Cabrera can make the play. I think Marson had it, or not Marson, but Nix had a chance at that ball.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. We saw a play last night where Cabrera called him off. I don't think he called him off here. Nix just didn't go for it. And Cabrera, you can see him looking at Nix as to why didn't you go for this? He tried to come in and barehanded to make the only play that he had, but that ball was only a couple of feet from the third baseman, Nix.
Infield hit. That'll bring up Austin Jackson, who has 2 singles, 2 runs scored.
Austin will take those 2 hits, but that last one was a gift. It's a play Nick should have made at third base.
He is 7 for 11 in the series. 8-game hitting streak now for Jackson. It was a hot topic of conversation before the game today in Jim Leland's office about how he's handled leading off for the first time in the big leagues, playing a premium position in center field, and Leland feels they've got their center fielder and a true leadoff hitter for years to come. And he also called Jackson the only leadoff hitter really that he's ever had. True leadoff hitter. Granderson let off a lot here the last couple of years, but I don't know that he was considered a true leadoff hitter. He had Bonds, who filled that position in Pittsburgh, but certainly not a true leadoff hitter. That's rolled to third. Foul ball.
Why did he feel Granderson wasn't a true leadoff hitter and Jackson is?
Don't know. Didn't get that far in the conversation. All he said was this is, in his mind, a true leadoff hitter for the first time in his managing career.
Really?
2-2. There's always talk that I think many felt that Granderson was more of a middle-of-the-order hitter anyway. But yet when you look at what he did as a leadoff hitter, he adapted to that role quite well.
Well, he stole quite a few bases.
It's fouled off. 2-2 on Jackson, and Jackson also had to, we don't talk about the slot, but he had to overcome that beating that happened to him in Los Angeles earlier this year. And that did not affect him one bit. Sometimes you worry about that, how that will affect certain players. Backed him out of there.
It really goes to show how well the Tigers scout. Because for them to give up what they gave up to get Jackson, who hadn't played a game in the big leagues, not that they thought he wouldn't be successful, but I'm thinking he's given everybody more than they thought. But that just gives your professional scouts a lot of credit to bring in a guy like Jackson.
Yeah, they're vital. Runner going, and it's fouled away.
I've been impressed with Jackson on a number of different occasions. Obviously, he plays well defensively, but his ability to hit the ball to right field is something that's kind of uncommon for guys that are this young. I mean, he's just gotten the majority of his hits the opposite way, which means he's seeing the baseball in good positions to hit all the time.
Runner on the move again, and again it's fouled off. Gerald Laird let it off with an infield hit.
Getting the sprints in, too.
Eight pitch at bat so far. Three and two on Jackson. And Laird on the move. And another foul back out of play. Laird's just tilting his head back right now. Back to first base he goes. Three and two. Austin a single in the first, scored a run. Single in the second, scored a run. That hitting streak up to 8 straight. His longest of the year was 11 in a row. Here's the 10th pitch in this at bat. And one out to the second baseman. Shovel to second, safe there. They'll relay it to first and get the out there.
It's a nice play by Donald, even with Laird running on the play. No harm, no foul. If you shuffle to Cabrera, your shortstop, if you get Laird, that's a bonus, but you also know your shortstop has enough time to still get the out at first base.
So Jackson is out, but Laird is safe at second, and that'll bring up Will Rhymes with one out. Rhymes a single and a double in this game, 2 runs scored. .273 batting average. That was coming into action today. Rhymes now knocking on the door for 300. He's up to 294. I remember in spring training, Jim Leland kind of foreshadowing a little bit said, keep your eye on Will Rhymes. He's had a really good camp. He's impressed me quite a bit. And he said, I know he wasn't a high draft choice and is not considered a huge prospect, but I think he can play in the big leagues. And that has come to fruition. That's back up the middle. Another hit for Rhymes. And it's going to get by Crow. Rhymes off to the races. Rounds the bag at second. He'll go to third, and he's in standing up. Laird scores on the play to make it 7-1. Going to get another error on the Indians' defense. A 3-hit game for Will Rhymes.
Well, the Tigers hitters have taken advantage of just about every strike that Gomez has thrown that really hasn't done a whole lot. That's a breaking ball at the top of the strike zone. Crow comes in. He's thinking about throwing Laird out at home plate, and the ball just goes right underneath his glove. I don't think he would have had a play on Laird anyway.
Second error of the game charged to the center fielder, and there's a base hit by Damon to drive in a run. Rhymes scores, and the rout is on. The Tigers now lead 8-1. Johnny's first hit of the series, his 40th RBI of the year.
What a difference a start makes for Gomez. His first start against the Tigers was a spectacular start. 7 innings, did not give up a run. But boy, they have punished him here today.
Frank Herman warming up. There's a strike on Miguel Cabrera. Cabby in this game, a single, an RBI, and an intentional walk. Fouled away. So for Genmar Gomez now, he's given up 8 runs in this game on 11 hits. We are not even out of the third as he gets roughed up for the first time in his major league career. This will be his 80th pitch. And it's hit on the ground at third base. Nix has it there. Cabrera's out. 2 gone. Advance the runner to second. Bosch has been walked intentionally. He has doubled in 2. His next RBI will be his 60th. It may come right here with Damon in scoring position. Genmar Gomez last year threw a perfect game at AA Akron. This year, though, he was 6-8 with a 5.70 ERA for Columbus at the time of his promotion. His second stint with the ball club. The 2-0. Ground ball to third. Nix for the final out to end the inning, but the Tigers continue to add on 2 more runs, and they now lead 8-1. rookies to each get 100 hits in a season. Tigers have done it this year with Jackson and Bosch. Who are the first two? Not the last two before these two guys, but the first two ever for the Tigers rookies to get 100 hits in a season. Good luck.
That means it's a toughie.
That's your clue. Good luck. Here we go. Tigers lead at 8-1 as we go to the fourth inning in search of a sweep here today. Shin-Soo Choo responsible for the only Cleveland run so far. He homered with 2 outs in the first. His 15th home run of the season. The 0-1 pitch. Lined over the head of the shortstop Peralta. And Choo now is 2 for 2. Bring up Travis Hafner. 3 hits for Cleveland, 2 of them for Choo. The other belongs to Marson, a double back in third. Tigers today badly out hit the Indians 11-3 in support of Justin Verlander, who has fanned 4 so far in this game. Verlander came in with 152 strikeouts. Twice this year he's gone 10 or more in a game. Ten strikeout game against Seattle. 11 strikeout game against the Washington Nationals. .2-0 pitch. Bouncing ball to third, could be 2. Let's see. Hinge to second, 1, no relay. Tough ball to turn 2 on. Hafner's on. Fielder's choice. 1 gone. Oh boy. Here was the giveaway they gave away today to all fans, the magnet frame.
I thought Fiesta Tigres was last night.
Well, you know, they're going to milk it for all they can. We'll see this next year, by the way, and the year after that. I got to admit, that's pretty funny, and so is this. This is pretty funny.
Cowboy boots on, Spurs.
Anything that makes me look slimmer, I'm all for. Even if I am wearing a sombrero. 0-1 on Knicks. Swing and a miss by Knicks. You know, I've had so many people come up to me at the ballpark here and say, nice get up for Fiesta Tigres.
I'm right there with you.
We saw it on TV. It looked great.
Yeah. They don't remember anything we say about the game.
No, that doesn't matter, actually.
But they remember those get ups. Elvis night, every night.
There's a strike called, and out of there is Knicks. 5 strikeouts for Verlander.
And then Verlander looks very good here today. 94 at the knees. Knicks can't pull the trigger. He's also had a good changeup today. He's had a good curveball. Not many sliders this afternoon by Verlander, but he really hasn't needed that. And you know the wait had to be very long for Verlander to wait 5 days in between his last start in New York, where he said he just felt like he didn't have it at all. That's one thing about starting pitchers. They have to wait 4 days in between before they get their next opportunity, whereas a position player, if you go 0 for 4, 0 for 5, you know you're going to be right back in there the very next day.
Makes it a lot easier. Marte flied out his last time up. Eight-1 lead. Hafner at first base. They play behind him. 1-2.
If you watch Marte in the batter's box, he takes that front hip and he opens up that front foot prematurely before the ball's even thrown, which tells you as a pitcher he's looking to pull the baseball. Therefore, you can throw the ball away and you can get a swing and miss for strike 3.
Pull down the left field line, hooking. Back out of play.
That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Until I see the replay, I won't know whether that's a strike or not. But judging by the swing, looks like this ball might have been off the plate outside. Fox Tracks are saying it's a strike, but the swing looked like it was a ball off the plate. That's that front hip and that front foot wide open.
Verlander had 2 strikeouts in the first. He had 2 in the third and 1 more here in the fourth. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. We're talking about Marte throwing an inning in relief recently for the Indians. Last Tiger to do that, last Tiger position player to pitch in a game was Shane Halter back in 2000. But that was that game in which he played all 9 positions.
There's been some times where Jim has been the manager of the Tigers. He could have used a position player, but that's something he refuses to do. He says, no, I'm not going to do that.
Runner goes on 3-2. And he lost him. Ball 4. Marte gets a walk. First walk for Verlander. Well, this game today is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. Stunning high definition. Another great crowd here this afternoon. Summer starting to wind down as we approach the month of September. Here's Shelley Duncan. There's a strike call. Kids all over the Motor City complaining about the fact that summer vacation is almost over. School right around the corner.
Parents are happy.
It's amazing. The kids are sad. The parents are happy.
Get them little crumb snatchers out the house.
0-2. I have not heard you break out crumb snatchers in a while. That's a good one.
It's a chore to keep those kids occupied during the summer. It's not like when we grew up, when you used to get on your bicycle and just go. Come back home when the lights come on. Street lights, that is. Nowadays, you've got to monitor the kids every step of the way.
That is popped up. Shallow center field. Jackson coming in. And that is that for the Indians. No runs. They get a walk. A single. They strand 2. Verlander looking good today. He had to go back a long, long way. George Burns and Marty Cavanaugh back in 1914.
That's why you said good luck.
George Burns and Marty Cavanaugh. Well, there's the pair of rookies the Tigers have going today, the 2010 version, that are definitely quite a pair.
They've got great numbers up and down the board. Batting average-wise, hits-wise, Jackson, extra bases for Bosch.
They've been on display today. Both have had good days as Johnny Peralta leads it off in an 8-1 ball game. We have a new pitcher now and a wall-side windows pitching change. Frank Herman
comes in 0-1 in 6 holds in the games that he's been in. He has 14 strikeouts in 30 2/3 innings. So right away that tells you he's not an overpowering pitcher. He pitches to quite a bit of contact.
Frank Herman, not to be confused with former Tiger pitcher Franklin Herman. This Frank Herman is from Rutherford, New Jersey. Bouncing ball to second base. Jason Donald and one away. Tigers have scored in each of the first 3 innings. The Indians pitching staff trying to hold them at bay now. 11 Detroit hits in this game. Inge has been on base twice, walking a single. One and one on Brandon. Tigers have had a great combination today. They've had Verlander and they've had an offense that has been clicking. And 2 on Inge. The sun for most of the day has really struggled to peek through the clouds. It is having a little bit of success right now. Some of the clouds starting to burn away. It has been a fabulous day otherwise. Bouncing ball again to second base. Donald will scoop this one up as well. 2 up, 2 down. Frank Herman has retired the first 2 batters he has faced. Herman has gotten to the big leagues as a non-drafted free agent signed by Cleveland in 2005. In the air to center, hit well. Crow will get there, though, and the Tigers go 1-2-3. Kelly is out. 4 in the books. Here's Comerica. Donald, Marson, Crow coming up. Access as we look ahead to the 2010 campaign for the Green and White. The show includes interviews and features with several team members, including head coach Mark Antonio, linebacker Greg Jones, quarterback Kirk Cousins, and wide receiver Keith Nichols. Spartan Football All Access season preview tonight at 9, right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Getting you ready for the Big Ten season and Spartan football.
That's a man's sport.
Jason Donald will start things off as we go to the 5th inning here against Justin Verlander. Verlander has surrendered 3 hits. He has struck out 5, walked 1. Donald is 0 for 1. And he pops up the first pitch. Johnny Peralta staring into the sun for the first time today. 1 gone. Verlander gave up that home run to Shin-Soo Choo back in the 1st and then pretty much just put the clamps on the Indians, who really have not been able to get anything going offensively. 3 hits in the first game, 4 hits last night, and 3 hits here today. Lou Marston, the batter. Marston had a double back in the 3rd. One ball, 1 strike on Lou Marston. And Verlander misses outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Justin now 65 pitches into this game. Pitch count in really good shape today. Much better than at start against the Yankees. Foul back, 2-2. Trevor Crowe will be next. Good breaking ball, and down he goes. That was nasty, and that is 6 strikeouts for Verlander.
Well, one of the reasons why Verlander's been able to get to this outstanding curveball today, he is 14 of 18 in first pitch strikes, and then he's able to expand the strike zone, and boys, he had some great depth with that curveball today.
That's the old 12-6 curveball.
You got it.
Trevor Crowe, the batter, now with 2 outs. Only 3 hits today for the Indians. Choo has 2 of them.
Their offense has gone stone cold since coming to Detroit. They had 30 hits in the 2 games prior to them getting here on Friday night.
There's the 1-0. Scherzer and Verlander are no picnic. Galarraga for as well, as he pitched in his previous start against the Indians. Almost duplicated it a couple of nights ago. And he was really good. Here's the 2-0 to Crowe. Chopper to the right side. It's going to get through. 2-out single, just the 4th hit of the game for the Indians.
And something Jim wanted Verlander to concentrate on today was mix in more off-speed pitches. And you can see in the 70 pitches he's thrown today, 50%. Well, a little better than 50% have been fastballs. The remainder have been either the changeup or his curveball. So I guess he heeded his manager's advice here today.
Here's Cabrera. He's 0 for 2. And a bouncing ball back up the middle. Rhymes will shovel it to second. Side retired. Nothing comes of the 2-out hit. 4.5 in the books, and you're watching Tigers baseball today. It is presented by Bell Tire. in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, building their lead.
It's turned out to be a very nice day here downtown Detroit.
The sun is finally shining and covering the entire field. Gerald Laird leading it off, then Jackson, and then Rhymes. Wave and a miss. Frank Herman is out there for his second inning of work. We're talking about Herman getting to the big leagues without ever being drafted. He was signed as a free agent a few years back. He played collegiately at Harvard. It's fouled straight back.
Which means he's going to have a bright, bright future after his baseball playing days are over with.
Also played some football at Harvard as well. He was a third-string quarterback. And graduated with an economics degree. That'll come in handy. Swing and a miss. Laird goes down. So he's retired 4 straight. That's his first strikeout. Here's Jackson. Big day for Austin. 2 hits, 2 runs scored. And an 8-game hitting streak now. Jackson with 2 more runs scored is pretty close to being on pace to score 100 this year. It's going to take a strong month of September. There's a breaking ball low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
It probably would have been no problem had Cabrera continued to get pitched to the way that Jackson's been getting on base, but it'll have to be somebody else that drives him in.
That and Maglio getting hurt, and Ordonez, had he still been in the lineup all season long.
Good point.
Probably would have done it easily.
Good point.
But Jackson continues, regardless of who's hitting behind him, to just get on base. He has stolen some bases this year. He'll get to 20. And hopefully beyond. Shoots that one to right field. Shin-Soo Choo is there. 2 gone. It's been a good day as well for Will Rhymes.
Well, just 3 singles. Actually 1 double, but he's always put the ball in play since coming to the big leagues, and he's kind of held his own defensively as well.
And Rhymes now hitting .304. 5 for 11 in the series. Two out here in the 5th. Tigers lead 8-1. Series finale here, looking for the sweep of Cleveland. Ball outside, 1-0. Royals coming in next, beginning tomorrow night. Two balls, no strikes. Call 2-2. And the former 27th round pick back in 2005, Will Rhymes, who really, I guess, think about it, if he has a strong month of September, he could figure into the plans. The Tigers right now without Carlos Guillen, so Rhymes getting an opportunity. The 2-2, and that's chopped back up the middle. Donald gets there, but only knocks it down, and Rhymes is on again.
That should be his 4th hit of the day. Donald would not have been able to throw Rhymes out even if he would have fielded that ball cleanly.
He's going to bring up Johnny Damon.
Anytime you have a guy that runs as well as Rhymes does, and you're a second baseman, you have to go 5 steps to your right. You know you have to hurry, and a lot of times when you hurry, you don't pick the ball up cleanly. It went right in his glove and bounced straight out of it.
Infield hit for Rhymes. 12 hits in the game for Detroit, and Rhymes has his first 4-hit game. A couple of nights ago, Don Kelly had his first 4-hit game. Damon rather singled in a run in the third. He is 1 for 3 today. Swing and a miss. 1 and 2 on Johnny Damon. Cabrera waiting on deck. And he got him. Strike 3. Damon not so sure, but he is punched out by Tony Randazzo. Second strikeout of the inning for Herman. 5 in the books.
At FoxSportsDetroit.com, Michael O'Hara quarterbacks our Lions coverage, and Dave Dye goes the distance with all the news on the Spartans, Wolverines, and the entire Big Ten. Get your football fix now at FoxSportsDetroit.com.
Shin-Soo Choo leads it off. 6th inning on tap here at the ballpark. Choo with a homer and a single. He has 2 of the 4 hits that the Indians have put up.
Verlander continues his mastery today with first pitch strikes. He hasn't missed on too many occasions to any of the Indians hitters.
And as a result, the pitch count in great shape today.
Well, this is where Jim Leyland has said he wanted to try to get Verlander to before the season was over this year.
Hit deep to center field. On his horse, Jackson still going, and he runs it down. Austin Jackson, like a gazelle out there in center, he just makes it look so easy.
When that ball left the bat of Choo, I took a look at Jackson, and he was coasting in a fashion which usually means the ball's hit over his head, but somehow just outruns the baseball to make this classic over-the-shoulder catch that we have seen him make so many times this year.
Silky smooth, 1 gone. Here's Travis Hafner.
But Jim said his goal was to get 1 more inning out of Verlander and Scherzer this year with the same amount of pitches they've been throwing when they've only been able to go 6 innings. So it looks like he's going to have a chance to do that today with his star right-hander.
So in order to do that, does that mean pitching to more contact, or what does that mean exactly?
More efficiency. He's been very efficient with first pitch strikes. They haven't fouled off nearly as many pitches today against Verlander as most teams do because of the fastball at the top of the strike zone. And I think that's why Jim wanted him to go to more breaking balls because you get more ground balls, you get more contact on ground balls. Usually when Verlander's in one of those fastball happy moods, the opposing team fouls off a lot of pitches. Therefore, he doesn't stay out there very long.
Here's the 1-2. Another breaking ball looped in the air, back is short, and Peralta can't get it. Loop single for Travis Hafner.
I can't say this is the best curveball I've seen Verlander with, but close to it.
It is pretty close.
Close to it. I mean, he's thrown a lot of dandies. Even this last breaking ball here is a good pitch. But Hafner's seen so many of them. He's out in front. He just kind of flails at it, and he's so strong. He's just able to kind of get that ball over Peralta's head. But that is a really good pitch. So you need to give credit there to Travis Hafner.
Just the 5th hit of the game for the Cleveland Indians. Here is Jason Nix. Hits one on a soft line to Brandon Inge. And Hafner scampers back. Let's go back to the studio now. Time for a game break. And here is Trevor Thompson. Luke French, remember him?
I do.
Yeah, just a couple of years ago here in Detroit. On the short end of it in New York today. There's a strike called on Andy Marte.
That was a really good deal on the surface when they traded French to Seattle. They got Jared Washburn in return, but Washburn wasn't healthy when he came to Detroit. And you know the rest of the story.
Slowly toward Verlander. He's going to take it himself and flip to first. That's it. They get a single, leave a man. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Verlander in cruise control mode right now.
And we're going to take you back just to the first out of last half inning. Jackson off the crack of the bat. Sin-Soo Choo makes a bid for an extra base hit, and Jackson makes one of his patented over-the-shoulder grabs. Boy, does he have a lethal first quick step in the outfield. Coors Light Freeze Cam is always brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Got some changes defensively now for the Indians. Jason Donald will slide over to short from his second base position. The new second baseman is Luis Valbuena. So that means Valbuena goes to Asdrubal Cabrera's old spot, which was number 2 in the lineup. And a new pitcher as well. Rafael Perez is in.
It's been a nice year for Rafael Perez. He really struggled last year in the big leagues. As a matter of fact, he was sent down to the minor leagues, but he's back to the way that he pitched a couple of years ago when they got to the postseason. A 3.23 earned run average. The opponent's hitting .290 against Perez. He has 7 holds.
Perez really interesting. I mean, he went from a guy that appeared in 73 games and pitched extremely well in 08 to a guy that had a 7 ERA last year.
He was in trouble.
And he will face Cabrera to start things off here in the 6th inning. Miguel followed by Bosch and then Peralta. 8-1 Tigers lead. And they've out hit the opposition today 12-5.
On most nights, Perez is not pitching in middle relief when his club is down by 7 runs, but Manny Actas had to go to that bullpen quite often already in the first couple of days of this series.
Awkward swing by Cabrera.
That's what he does best. That slide piece down at the feet of the right-handed batter away from the left-handed hitter. And when he's got that pitch, it's usually a good day for him. They're going to go right back to it.
Off the end of the bat towards second base for Valbuena. Valbuena had a scare the other night, had a collision at first base and twisted his wrist a little bit, but turned out to be all right. Didn't play yesterday and now enters the game in the middle of this one. Here's Bosch. 1 for 2 for Brennan, double 2 RBIs. Starting to perk up a little bit now, 4 for 10 in the series. Bosch now putting together a little bit of a mini hitting streak. He sits safely in 4 straight. His longest streak of the year, 8 in a row. It was back in May when he was really going well. 1 ball, 1 strike on Brennan. He leads all American League rookies with 14 home runs. And the 1-1. 1-2 on Bosch. Perez has been with the Indians for parts of 5 big league seasons now. He hails from Santo Domingo. Bosch goes down on strikes. Now Herman struck out 2 in the 5th, and now Perez gets a strikeout here in the 6th. Bring up Johnny Peralta. Johnny 3 RBIs today. The last time these two teams will play here at Comerica Park. The Tigers have a series remaining in Cleveland the final week of the regular season. They'll be in Cleveland and Baltimore to finish it out on the road this year. That is pulled foul. Look out, it almost hit Ted Baird, who made a nice play to skip out of the way. A little jump rope action down there.
Not only did he have to jump out of the way, but he had to somehow turn his head to take a look back to see where that ball landed.
Tigers have a chance with a win here today. They would be 8-1 against the Indians at home this year. Strike call. 1-2 on Peralta. Tigers have not scored since getting 2 in the 3rd. But they've not needed much more with Verlander on the mound leading 8-1.
For Johnny to take that fastball right down the middle, he must be looking for something off speed.
Two and two.
Obviously, he knows Perez very well. He played behind him for a number of years.
12 Tigers hits today. Peralta had one of the biggest hits early in the game after they walked Bosch intentionally to load the bases. Johnny came through with a 2-run single against Genmar Gomez. Gomez lasted only 3 innings in this game today. And again the 2-2. Fly ball right field. Chu is under it. And a 1-2-3 inning for Perez. We go to the 7th. Duncan, Donald, Marson coming up. And by your Detroit area Volkswagen dealers, visit DetroitVWDealers.com. Stunning day here in the Motor City, so we welcome you back. It is 8-1 in favor of the Tigers in search of the sweep against the Indians. We go to the 7th inning. It'll be the bottom of the lineup coming up. Shelley Duncan, Jason Donald, Lou Marson. Verlander has scattered 5 hits in this game, gave up a run in the first and nothing since. Strike 1 on Duncan. Shelley is 0 for 2 and now 2 for his last 34 at bats. Breaking ball is a good one and a strike 0-2.
Tough matchup here to go up against a guy like Verlander when you're in the midst of not swinging the bat at your best, as Duncan is right now.
And because of that, he's 0 for 3. Verlander has another strikeout, 7 of them today.
First pitch fastball, second pitch a curveball, then he comes back with a slider that was a pitch that stayed up, but a big swing by Duncan. He swings right through it.
Now Jason Donald, who has a pop-up and a strikeout.
And that's something else that has helped Verlander's pitch count here today, is the fact that he really hasn't struck out that many. Hasn't needed to exert all that much energy.
Line drive, base hit, left field. Yeah, those nights in which he's striking out 11, 12, 13, 14, you know that it looks good, but a lot of extra pitches.
And Jim knows on those nights he's going to have to get about 3 innings out of his bullpen. He won't need three innings out of his bullpen today. Yeah, that fastball reading of 96 by Verlander. He's only touched that velocity 1 time today.
Here's Lou Marson.
But Verlander has a kind of electricity in his right arm that he can reach back and get to 98, 99 whenever he wants to. Real nice luxury to have.
Fouled away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Marson a double and a strikeout.
JV looks much more under control today. He was really rushing in the start against the Yankees, flying open with that front shoulder. Did not have that direct line with the front shoulder pointing toward home plate.
He is zeroing in on his 14th win if he can hold on to this one today. 7-run spread here in the 7th inning. And he's also trying to win his 6th consecutive decision against Cleveland.
Since Verlander's come to the big leagues, there's been no pitcher in the American League that's won more games in their home ballpark. He is looking for number 44 today.
Driven to right field. Bosch cruising over. And the runner retreats. 2 gone. There's Trevor Crowe.
I didn't notice, but the Tigers are in the midst about playing 18 straight games. They don't have a day off until next Monday.
In Minnesota.
Yeah.
They've had a few of these this year where they've played 17, 18 straight. Of course, every team does. I mean, the schedule eventually evens out for everybody, but it can be a rough stretch, especially when you get to the end of August. They would play in Toronto 4 straight before that off day. No balls, 2 strikes. That's what Jim Leland says over and over and over. What makes baseball so much different than any other sport. The other sports may be more physical, hockey and football. But the mental grind of staying physically in shape and mentally in shape over what will be, when you count spring training, about 190 games. It's a chore. 1-2 on Crowe. Tend to forget about spring training, which starts, what guys usually report, mid-February.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
You're in Florida for about a month and a half.
It's a long, long season. It's a grind.
Crowe is 1 for 3, singled in his last at bat. Trevor playing out in center field these days with the injury to Michael Brantley, who hurt his ankle. Brantley is expected back in their lineup early next week. And again, the 1-2. Fouled straight back.
That's why the month of September is so big for teams that have lots of rookies on them. The Tigers have quite a few rookies, and so does this Cleveland Indians team. Now, their bodies usually are ready to shut down at the beginning of September because that's when the minor league season ends. So all of a sudden you tack 30 more games on to schedules that they're not really all that familiar with.
Lifted to center field. Austin Jackson camping under it. That'll end the inning. Verlander gives up a hit, but no damage. Stretch time here at the ballpark. Inge Kelly Laird coming up. And a reminder, if Jose Valverde is credited with a save in this game, text ZOOM to 37338 to enter to win a party in a Comerica Park suite brought to you by Mazda. Well, another huge crowd on hand here today, and the fans have really supported this team this year. They go over the 2 million mark for the 6th consecutive season and the 13th time in franchise history. 35,104 your attendance today, and a big round of applause to the fans who have supported this Tiger Ball Club. And they continue to do it.
Some of the best fans in the country.
And they're having fun today. They're watching a good one. We'll have a new pitcher come on now for the Cleveland Indians. That would be left-hander Tony Sipp.
Yeah, Sipp has pitched in his 54th game now for Maniac. He comes in 2-2 with 11 holds, the earned run average. Just a tick under 5. He does have a legitimate strikeout pitch. He's got 51 strikeouts in 46 and 2/3 innings pitched in the league, hitting just .226 against Tony.
So from the bullpen today, they've gone with Herman, Perez, and now Sipp. Brandon Inge will lead it off. It'll be Inge, Kelly, and Laird in the home half of the 7th. Inge is 1 for 2, has a walk and a single. Pretty good series. 4 hits in the series for Brandon. 1 ball to no strikes. Perez had himself a 1-2-3-6. Herman threw 2 scoreless out of their bullpen. The pen has done a nice job after slowing down a Tigers offense that rolled up 8 runs early. Swing and a miss. We say it all the time. We see Tony Sipp, but this kid has a really good arm.
Wasn't drafted very high either. He was a long shot to get to the big leagues. He had to pitch his way to the major leagues.
Swing and a miss.
Some guys get drafted, some guys don't. Some guys go to JC, some go to Division I schools. If you can play, if you can hit, if you can pitch, they will find you no matter where you go.
The 1-2 just off the plate. Back in the 2004 draft, 1,336 players were selected before Tony Sipp was selected by Cleveland.
A lot of times when you get drafted in that area, they just kind of sign you so you can play with the other guys that they've got money invested in, so they can make up a roster.
Popped up. Foul ground for Marte. Ooh, trouble. And coming in, Valbuena behind him to make the catch.
Well, you could tell that Marte is not used to playing first base. He's the third base, and then by trade. And as soon as that ball went up, he started circling the wagons, and thankfully, his second baseman bailed him out. It's a much different play going over your shoulder when you're at third base versus going over your shoulder at first base.
Here's Don Kelly. Fouled off. Kelly is 0 for 3 in this one. Paul's having fun today. It's a perfect day for Paws. Not too hot out. Beautiful day. 0-2 the count. Tigers have 12 hits this afternoon. They have doubled up the hit totals on the Indians. The 0-2. popped up the other way, third base side. Nix coming over again against that railing, flips in this time. The question is, did he catch it? Yes, he did.
Oh my goodness.
That's the second time today Nix has gone against that railing. This time he flipped in. What a play. Now that deserves a big time round of applause.
One of the finest plays you will see for a third baseman.
Look at that.
What an effort. Team down by 7.
Look at that. And this is where it gets scary right here. You don't know what he's going to land on. Oh, my goodness. You all right down there?
He did not have a big landing area down there either. That was his first catch of the day.
Incredible play by Nix. And he pulled both of those against Don Kelly. Two outs and Gerald Laird the batter. You know, you brought up something right there. His team is down 7 runs. They're struggling this year. You're in the 7th inning of a game in which you're getting blown out, and he does that.
Yeah, he didn't have to do that. He did not have to do that. But that just kind of shows his character, and it also bodes well for the manager, Manny Acta. These guys are still playing hard for him. They got a real young team. They've traded away most of their veteran players. As a matter of fact, they really don't have a whole lot of veteran leadership on their 25-man roster, which also makes it very difficult for the manager and his coaching staff, because they usually have that veteran guy that kind of polices the team and polices the young players.
Not so right now. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Laird goes down, and the Tigers are out 1-2-3. How about Jason Nix sacrificing the body? Up and over. Great play.
StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Detroit Tigers. Go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
In the meantime, Verlander back to the hill as we go to the 8th. Tigers lead this one 8-1. And Justin facing Valbuena for the first time in this game. He'll be followed by Chu and then Hafner. Wave and a miss, try to hold up, and it's quickly 0-2 on Luis Valbuena.
Really, there's been a whole lot of uncomfortable swings this afternoon against Verlander. Not many. of the Cleveland Indians hitters have really had an idea against Verlander, whose stuff has been electric today.
Here's the 1-2. And that's rolled foul. So Verlander now has hit 100 pitches, and he is in the 8th inning, and that's exactly what you were talking about earlier today.
Well, when you got aces like Scherzer and you also have Verlander at your disposal every 5th day, when they take the mound as a manager, you're kind of like thinking your bullpen's going to get a blow that day. You're not going to really need your bullpen on those days, and that kind of helps you maneuver through the other 3 guys in the rotation who might need more help out of the bullpen.
Pop to the shortstop. Peralta hauls it in.
Verlander has thrown about 50% of his pitches today have been off speed pitches, whether the curveball or the changeup, and of course the other 50% would be the fastball.
Figueroa warming up. Verlander has also been 22 of 29 first pitch strikes. Swing and a miss, 23 of 30. 0-1 on Shin-Soo Choo, who remains the only reason the Indians got a run today. He homered back in the first. They have not scored since. It was a 2-out solo shot against Verlander. And the 1-1.
It's a nice job of hitting right there by Choo. 2 strikes, good pitch. You don't quite know whether it's a strike or not, but you know you have to somehow try to foul it off because you can't hit it with authority. And you hope Verlander makes a mistake. They're going right back with that same pitch, looks like.
2-2. Pull to right field, base hit. Choo has his 3rd hit today, 3 of the 7 for Cleveland.
He threw it down in his happy zone at 85 miles an hour.
That'll bring up Travis Hafner. Singled his last time up in the 6th inning. And 1. Hafner has 3 hits in the series. He has an RBI. This is a Cleveland team that really hasn't done a whole lot offensively in the 3 games against Tigers pitching. They came into this game hitting 115 in the series after 2 games. And Justin now at 111 pitches, which is just about at his average per start. The difference is he is pitching into the 8th today instead of the 5th or the 6th or even the 7th. Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Hafner.
Verlander's last outing, he threw 114 pitches, and that was in 5 innings in New York.
Big difference. One of of the reasons why they brought Figaro up instead of a position player when they sent Weinhardt down, because the Tigers were not getting enough innings out of their starting staff in the last week. So they stayed with 13 pitchers. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Hafner goes down on strikes.
That ball bounced. The changeup at 84 miles an hour that Hafner couldn't hold up on. Yeah, the days are done when staffs only have 10 pitchers, like the old days. Now just about every single team has at least 12 pitchers on their pitching staff, and some teams 13, as you mentioned.
Which leaves most managers a little bit short on the bench when you do that.
That's one thing about the American League, though. There's not a lot of guys that you pinch hit for in your starting lineup. It's not like the National League where you've got double switches and you've got the pitcher you've got to always think about late in games.
That's popped up back toward the dugout. Cabrera will get there, though. And Justin Verlander with 8 strong innings in this one. He gets up a hit here in the 8th. We'll go to the bottom half. 8-1. The 8th, Jackson and Rhymes, a good part of the offense today. 6 for 8, 5 runs scored between them. Verlander's numbers have been great. And the Tigers, with runners in scoring position in this series, really good.
Tigers have been getting some real nice protection and productivity out of their table setters. A couple of days ago, it was the latter third of the batting order. Today, it's the top 2.
Chris Jimenez will take over in right field for Shin-Soo Choo. And we have a new pitcher as well. That would be Chris Perez.
Apparently he needs some work. He's their closer. He has 15 saves this year and 19 chances. A 2.22 earned run average for Chris Perez.
Strike one on the leadoff man, Austin Jackson. Rhymes and then Damon to follow. 2 runs scored today for Jackson, 2 hits as well. 12 hits total for the Tigers. Chris Perez, a former St. Louis Cardinal. The Mark DeRosa deal produced Perez. Guy to right center field. And Crow will come over to make the play. Jackson is out, one gone. So Will Rhymes has a 4-hit game going today. He's had 3 singles, a double. He's knocked one in and scored 3 times. He's been all over the place in this series, 6 for 12. Ball 1 to Rhymes. A couple of hairdos going at it here in this at bat. Rhymes and Perez. Flowing locks. The 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, we know Rhymes plays the drums. We wonder if Perez plays a musical instrument.
Perez also has the full beard going. The 2-1. Fouled straight back. 2-2 on Will. Chris Perez, 25 years old, stands 6'4". Will Rhymes does not stand 6'4".
Perez has kind of inherited that closer's role since Kerry Wood has been traded to the New York Yankees. He's done pretty well in that role for his club.
Fouled away. Indians, of course, traded away Kerry Wood as soon as he came off the disabled list at the end of July. He's in the Yankees' pen these days. Three and 2. Rhymes trying to get something started here with 1 out of the 8th. Tigers lead 8-1. 3 outs away from a sweep. Swing and a miss. And Perez dusts off Will Rhymes the first time they retire him today.
Hey fans, you can follow the Tigers on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phones with MLB.com at Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit Tigers.com today for more details.
2 outs for Johnny Damon. Single and 4 at bats for Johnny, plus an RBI. And he hits this one to the right side on 1 hop. Valbuena has it. And it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Perez. So we've completed 8 as we go to the 9th. It is 8-1 Detroit. All right, thank you, Trev. Here it is, the top of the ninth inning and last call time for the Cleveland Indians in an 8-1 ball game. So Lou Piniella stepping down now as opposed to the end of the season. And development in Chicago. We wish Lou and his family well. Meanwhile,
absolutely,
here is Figueroa.
Lou has been an outstanding big league manager, tremendous big league manager, and an outstanding man as well.
So Figueroa back in the big leagues will face Andy Marte. Seeking 3 outs here. The Tigers trying to get the sweep and welcome Kansas City to town beginning tomorrow. That's in the air to center. It'll be a routine play for Austin Jackson.
Well, if you have any aspirations of being a big league manager, this offseason is going to be a real busy one for a lot of different organizations. Lots of managerial positions going to open up after this year's over with.
And really some big time positions too.
You usually don't get these kind of jobs where payrolls are steep, like Chicago, possibly LA, Atlanta. That's just a few. Possibly Seattle.
Here's Shelley Duncan.
Toronto. It's usually maybe 1 or 2. This year there's going to be quite a few.
Duncan in this game is 0 for 3. Verlander went 8 in this game, struck out 8, and scattered 7 hits, gave up just 1 run. Figueroa is 2-0. 2-1 on Duncan. Inside, way up and in on Shelley Duncan.
Yeah, Figueroa not real big in stature, but he's got a big arm. He can get up to 95 miles an hour with that small frame.
Made 5 appearances in the big leagues last year for the Tigers. Hammered down the left field line. Foul.
That's what happens when you're struggling. Duncan sitting on the fastball, 3-1. He got it, and he yanked it foul.
Three and 2 on Shelley Duncan. Pulled foul again. Duncan a couple of fly balls to center and a strikeout. 2 for his last 35. And again the 3-2. This one he'll put in play right at the left fielder. And Ryan Rayburn makes the catch. 2 gone. Rayburn coming in to play left field. Don Kelly has moved to first base. Along with Figueroa, the changes for Detroit. So 1 more out to get, and they will come to their feet. 35,000 strong in the ballpark today. Here's Jason Donald. Almost hit him. 1-0. One ball, 1 strike on Donald. He's 1 for 3. Base hit back in the 7th. Verlander gave up a run in the first on the Chu home run and shut him down the rest of the way. 1-2. So Leland got exactly what he wanted. He got his ace to go 8 strong innings today. Now 1 more strike to get on Donald. And there it is. He struck him out. And the Tigers sweep the Indians away. first Tigers series sweep since July 5th through the 7th against the Orioles. They had gone 11 series between sweeps. And this one feels good as the Tigers win again at home. 8-1 your final score. Stay with us. Back with more from Comerica Park. Big Tiger win today.